Welcome all, welcome, welcome, welcome to the soup. Thank you so much for joining us. And of course, it's season 3, new topics, new energy, and of course, we have a lovely panel of ladies to discuss various topics. Of course, the last time we spoke of Soleil Summer Festival, and we had Thomas Leos with us. I want to say thank you to him. He didn't want to leave. Yes, and this time around we will be talking is Soleil Summer Festival Part 2, and we're actually talking about all mass takeover and calypso. In fact, it's more of a carnival theme. All right, so just before we do that, let me say hello to all my other panelists. So you'll say hi to Allison, Franny, Rochelle.
Hi.
All right, and I want to say congratulations to all the winners for Carnival. Well, first we want to congratulate us here at the Soup. We were the producers of the production for Moggy's finalist songs. All right, we want to say thank you again for the support over the years. And it indulged me. I want to say congratulations to just a few folks. We want to say congratulations to Ricky T on winning the 2017 Power Monarch with Drunkard. Congratulations to the Groovy Monarch Arthur on his flawless victory and a 4th win in a row. Yes, he's won for the 4th time. And the Mighty Pep, of course, is our new Calypso Monarch for 2017. Ricky T taking with Sully Road March, of course, this year. Just some of the bands, of course, we see a lot of Tribe of 12 coming in first for Best Design Band. Also with Royalites, a section of the year results with the theme of Showtime. Juve Band results back in time. That's My People Music of Life of the Party. That's Hardest Hard Restaurant. I want to say hi, Evelyn. How are you? Congratulations to Just for Fun for Mass on the Move. Panorama. Yes, our champions are Courts Babonu, Steel Orchestra, and all the other winners. I didn't leave you out purposely. You know, we just have we limited for time. I want to say congratulations. Continue to do what we do, and let us grow the product of Carnival.
This year, I hosted the first ever, well, first in a long time, prize giving award ceremony for Carnival.
Right.
It was very posh, by the way. Everybody came out in their whites and they're looking all nice and stuff.
But it was a white theme.
Yes, white theme. So you walk in, red carpet affair, photographers and the friends, just like awards, like BT Awards or any other award ceremony.
Right.
So it was the first that they've had for them in a long time for the prize giving ceremony. And most of them did show up. It was very exciting to see the children come up to collect their awards. For some of them was their first time, yes. And of course, I know the artists had a ball. So we had performances. Her Black performed, and you know, persons had fun with them. So it was the first in a while. So I do have to commend the event company of Saint Lucia for putting that on for the artists. Usually they don't, you know, you just come collect your check. And that's that.
But
But
I've actually heard there's been a little disgruntling over the years. You know, some people say that there's going to be an award ceremony.
Right, and it never happened
Now
before.
getting into the background of that.
So
I'm
year,
sure they're very happy for that.
This year it happened and it was a blast.
And it happened early too, because normally you have that so late after the whole...
Exactly. It happened quite shortly after.
No riots from the artists this year.
well, you know, if we're keeping it real, there was a lot of discussion on the increase of prize money, which didn't happen this year. I think naturally persons expected that it would happen because there was, you know, a new body in place managing the events and based on the budget, when you hear how much, you know, went into Carnival, etc., persons did expect that they'd get a little more.
Right.
And unfortunately, that didn't happen how they wanted it to.
Okay, so
that's
Thomas, we need you back on here. Thank you.
So that's
Definitely a part of the
the
discussion.
artists. Yeah, that's the thing. But Carnival generally, because not all of us know the behind the scenes, did you guys have fun? Do you jump?
No.
No.
I did when I may have been about 5, 6 years old. My sister. Yes, and I had a ball. Thank you very much. I remember, our pirate costumes.
You tell her.
My brother and I, and we had our swords.
Okay.
And, oh my God! And the second day, because we stole into the band.
Oh Lord.
That was secret at the time, and we
Right.
had fun. I have never jumped again in my life.
Really?
No.
But that was a time
So-
when it was like the children. I know there was a time when the children and the adults would jump on the road together.
Yes.
That was-
Really?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
jumped on the
Yes,
second
there was not
day.
like a
On
children's
the second day, so the
band.
children were in the
No.
front, and then the adults
at the
were
back.
to the back.
Following them, yeah.
Because that time the music was appropriate for both ages, if
Yeah,
we're
it
being
was
very
not
honest.
as-
Right.
So-
To me,
so-
music has never
Yeah.
been appropriate in eras, right?
The
But,
Carnival
yeah.
music
No, but it was a better still.
Yeah, it was
Slightly
fun.
cleaner.
What about you ladies? You don't
I've
jump
never
Carnival?
jumped.
No.
I've never jumped. I've always wanted to, but then, never happened. But then my daughter experienced it for the first time this year.
Experience as in
She jumped. She
Oh,
jumped
okay,
with
nice.
Just as Kids. They won. They
Yes,
they
every year, every year.
clean sweep. So I mean, her first time jumping was really good. She enjoyed it, and I guess she lived the experience for me.
nice.
Is it something she wants to do again?
The child was on the road for 10 minutes. They were literally waiting behind the band for the music to start and everything. And she was like, Mommy, Mommy, can I do it again next year? So I think she got bitten by
So
the
there's
bug.
your answer.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could ever stop. My mom used
You're
to,
one of those.
Yes.
Addicted.
My mom used to sew for the Shamalion Carnival Band. Remember when
Yeah,
Shamalion was
yeah,
out?
yeah, yeah.
And so since I was a baby, before I could walk, I was in costume. How am I
So
supposed
it's
to
in
stop
your
now?
blood.
Yes.
Oh boy.
So I'm talking about in my can I boast a little
Yes.
bit? Maybe a little bit. The initial start of Carnival involved my family members, the St. Helens.
Okay.
It's in my blood. I cannot.
You see?
This year, I did not, of course, everybody knows I'm mommy again, so I didn't take too much. I wasn't too involved in the carnival events. So I like to do my juve. I like to jump in my carnival band, whatever it is. I'm never loyal to anybody, so don't expect me to big up anybody. Whoever is my taste at the time, that's which band I'm jumping in.
Good.
Okay.
All right, and I'm not loyal to any, but yeah, carnival is my yearly therapy. Let's leave it at
For
that.
a lot of people, actually, that
my-
phrase
it
has
is
been
my
used a
annual
lot
therapy.
in my group. It's like I may do nothing else for the rest of the year,
Yep.
but carnival.
Full time,
oh,
don't.
yeah.
But the one thing I did go to, and I was very impressed, I attended about at least 3 tents, Carnival Calypso tents.
And they were the bomb.
I've been going the last, well, about 6 years now, trying to go to the tents to see what is happening. And the content this year was
Excellent.
excellent.
The
In fact, I have been
quality
trying
was
as well,
definitely good.
behind the scenes, try and get some of the younger writers as well to try and get involved in what is happening with Calypso. So this was very encouraging. In fact, some of these younger writers, and may his soul rest in peace, we want to recognize Jean Leon Chacom. I was speaking with him. He had a number of workshops before that, and I was saying to him that some of these younger writers need to come into the art form, and this year it caught their attention. So they were sending me messages and they said, boy, Chacom is not around for this. And you know, they were saying to me, yeah, let's see how we can get involved in this. So I'm very happy with what I saw with Calypso. I went to Calypso finals. Oh, I was like, whoa, this is, wow. People came up, some people who actually said to me, it's been years I've actually come out to Calypso finals, and they felt that they were given reason to come out. So it was great. I saw a lot of, and the demographic was
Quite mixed.
ranging, a lot of younger people there as well. I even saw a lot of soca artists turning out for the Calypso, and they were rooting. I saw Ricky T was there, for example. I know Ricky T was there, Calypso Monarch, and he came to check out what was happening. So it was very encouraging this year. Of course, that was the only thing I did for this year. Next year, yeah, I may be back in the groove.
Next year you're back in there.
Back in the groove.
Well, we did have the tents. Of course, it would be hot because we did have quite a bit of, you know, inspiration for the writers.
Commentary
For the writers to use.
Yes.
Okay, well, right now we're about to go for a break. We're going to give you guys, the viewers, a quick break to run along, replenish your drinks, or use the loo. But don't take too long, because when we come back, we have a special guest coming to join us right here on this couch. Want to know who? Come along back to the soup. Stay tuned.
I'm so fed up with my 14-year-old child. She's driving me crazy. I just don't know what to do.
All that child need is some good licks to wake up.
Alice, ignore the counseling Pansy is giving. Government employees have free access to professional counseling services under the Employee Assistance Program known as EAP.
EAP? EAP? What's that? Not me that telling people my business.
Listen to me, Alice. I was struggling with my child. I made an appointment to see an EAP counselor, and I was very satisfied with the service that I received. And you know what? Up to a day like today, my information remains confidential.
Cox, how come nobody in the office knew anything about your counseling?
That's because EAP counselors, they work under strict clauses of confidentiality. I know you know what confidential means.
EAP providing professional counseling services? How much is it?
Girl, the counseling is free. Free for you, free for your child. And you know what? Your information remains confidential. Call the EAP unit at the Ministry of the Public Service. Telephone number 468-2269 for more information.
EAP works. Let it work for you.
Welcome back to the soup. Thank you for joining us, ladies. I hope you had a brief time in the loo. Yes, the loo. You may remember before the break that my co-host over there, the British lady, she said, take a break and go to the loo. So, welcome back from the loo. And as we continue with the soup, we will be discussing more of Carnival. So, Larry, part 2. Our guest today joining us is Mr. Kennedy Samuels, also known as Boots. Welcome to the soup, Mr. Samuel.
Thank you very much. I feel like the Sallies are in the soup.
I'm loving this.
I'm living.
Already, I'm loving it. See what I mean? But you know something, I need you to tell us the name Boots. Where exactly did that come from?
Oh boy.
That is what you got me here for?
No, but I'm interested because I've always wondered, Boots.
Why Boots?
Yeah.
Especially in our St. Lucian
But you
culture,
could have
we
asked me
all
this
kinds of
in
names.
private.
No,
in the middle of the street.
I'm sure we're not the only ones who want to know. I'm sure the viewers want to know as well.
Tell us, why Boots?
Well, we're more intrigued now, so why Boots?
And then you said, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, I'll give you one story. I think when I was very, very young, I had an old shoe that I would refuse to throw away. You know, the shoe, when your shoe used to laugh, a laughing shoe.
Okay, yes.
I refused to throw it away. I liked it very much. I kept it. And in short, the name came out of this, my attachment to this old shoe that I refused to throw away. And it started with my mom, of course, was trying to get me to throw away the shoe. And of course, when you go to schools, especially boys' schools in St. Lucia, you get nicknames, and names stay with you and stay with you for the rest of your life.
And you went to St. Mary's,
Then also,
right?
and I did go to
Oh
St. Mary's.
boy, yes.
And then I play football. So the boots, you know, evolved.
You played
And
football
all
with the
kinds of
boots,
ways.
with the same shoe?
Not the same.
Oh,
Well, with the
okay.
shoe too. That must be why it was laughing too.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then in playing football and so boots stuck. And
Okay.
here I am.
So you didn't want to
with
get
boots.
rid of the shoe. Now the shoe can't get rid of you.
It
So
can't
you're
get rid
just
of me.
stuck.
No,
With you
at
for
all.
life.
For life.
And I don't mind it. In fact, it has gone all over the world. A lot of people know me around the world as Boots.
Boots.
If you ask them for Kennedy Samuel,
They wonder who's that?
who's that?
But you say
Yes,
Boots
but
and-
Boots,
ah,
yes.
yes.
That's
That
a
guy.
Saint that's a Lucian thing, Solange.
Lucian thing,
The
for
Lucian
sure.
thing, like you say the, especially around with funerals, they say the nickname. They say the name, the person's, you know, legal baptism.
You mean the teleobituaries?
Yeah.
Yes. And everybody's like, who's that? And then you say, oh,
AKA.
Better known as, you
better
know,
known as so and so electric or something. I don't know.
Tibuik.
Yeah.
Tibuik.
etc.
I say, oh, that's his name. Okay, yes. It's a Lucian thing.
So then, as we look at All Mass, did Boots, in terms of the nickname, play any part in that? Because I know you have a long tradition in this whole All Mass
Mass.
and Carnival thing. So
Yeah.
tell us about that.
Did Boots play any part? No, well, this
Not Boots the person, but you know, in terms of your name, the nickname
name.
and all of that.
No,
No?
I,
Okay.
but I have done something with the name Boots a long time ago, but no. This Boots, the person, has done a lot.
So just
In that area.
explain All Mass to us. What is All Mass? When you hear about All Mass and
A very interesting, unique tradition. A lot of people say it's the best part of Carnival, and the part they like the best. I mean, its development is very much in the vein of the development of Calypso and so on, where marginalized people in the society who don't have a voice elsewhere within the Carnival season find a voice,
Okay.
you know, and find a voice, and usually a very hard satiric voice, which is what Calypso does, you know, and it challenges the deepest corridors of power, the most powerful, the least powerful. You know, nobody is immune to Calypso when the Carnival season comes around. All Mass, almost the same thing. All Mass comes, a lot of creative people, individuals. It's very, how it has developed in Saint Lucia, it's a very individual thing, very artistic minded, you know, find a voice, an avenue of creative expression within the Carnival. And just like the Calypso, it performs role of education, of commentary, of humor, satire, you know, at it. And so you have a lot of these individuals around St. Lucia with creative skills coming up with some of these concepts that go out on the road. All Mass is usually captured, or it's framed by a placard. A placard with some message, some nonsense, some whatever, you know, and costume, just like Carnival, okay? And there is a portrayal. It could be, as I said, commentary. It could be some serious message. It could be something just for humor. Or it could be just something that you don't understand one hell of what that person is doing there, but the person has expressed themselves. So it's a character with a placard
on the road.
expressing themselves to the community, to the society, and having a good time in Carnival.
When I was a little girl and I heard Old Mass, I always thought it was just old people going on the road with the placards.
Yeah.
No, hold on, because it's a lot of older folk you would see, especially before, you know, taking part in Old Mass. Is it something that the more mature crowd would participate in?
Oh yeah, well, it's a tradition that comes from way back when, and a lot of our traditions are moving on because the people who carried them are getting on in age, okay? And so not just Old Mass, but I mean, if you look La Rose, if you look at a lot of the drumming traditions that you have, if you look at them, you see a lot of them on the fret right now because, I mean, a lot of these people used to be young in the tradition once upon a time, but they have gotten old, but they have carried the tradition, and the tradition is still there in St. Lucia. When I was much younger, I remember characters like Billy Augustine, the late Billy Augustine. I mean, he was one of the first Old Mass champions that I knew. I remember he played one of the first Old Mass I actually saw and appreciated. Since I born, I badly bred. you know. And I saw this girl coming with a placard, since I born a badly bred. But when he reached up, a kind of old bread with moss and mildew and mold all over the thing, blue, green, and endless bread all over him. And there was this, since I born a badly bred. And then by the next year, he played Ursula Andress. And I don't know if you remember the screen actor Ursula Andress. She was very popular in those days. I mean, one of the most popular female actors. But he was almost naked on stage, on the road, okay? And he played Ursula Andress, you know. So I remember and Billy stayed in it for many years. And some followed him and came in, but Billy got on in age. And young people seeing him would think that this is for older persons, but there was a time when they were young. In truth, it's just that they have carried the tradition for many, 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 many years. Maybe a lot of younger people have not taken it up, and so on. But it's not. And the old in old mass usually spelled O-L-E, not O-L-D. Okay, so, as I say, it's not so much for older persons, it's just that the tradition, like a lot of traditions in Saint Lucia, a lot of the people who have kept the tradition have gotten on in age. And I mean, when I virtually got into it maybe in the 70s and going into the 80s, and then we have kept it alive. And a lot of those persons at that time were young. When you talk people like Carlton Ishmael, Twatine, one of the giants of old mass, you know, coming through. Bull Cauldron, Cocky John Baptist, you know, these fellows have played old mass almost every year. Leslie Charles, you know, almost every year. And from way back from the 70s going to the 80s. Now we have passed the 90s, now we're going into 2000. They are also getting on in age too, and so on. Carlton Ishmael has announced about 3 years ago, he announced publicly his retirement from old mass.
Yeah, sure.
But
he was back. You know, so when your doctor retired, that's an old person. But he's back again.
You're not leaving.
He's back again.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, but it's a really unique, and a lot of the entertainment, as I say, a lot of people get some of the real entertainment in Carnival. In old mass, people come out and wait and look out for the old mass.
It's true.
Well, that's what I look out for myself, because I'm not a carnival person in terms of coming out towards those in the costumes as they prance and wash and all
else.
that. So I'm not one of those, but old mass, I'm always searching out the placards to see what is there, taking the photos, because it's amazing the play on words.
Oh, yes.
But what I've found, though, is over the last few years, the number of persons depicting the old mass, that kind of was low. But this year, at least in my opinion, there was an upsurge. What do you attribute to that?
It's always an up and down. I mean, you can't predict any year, because old mass is not something that's organized, you know, like a carnival band preparing for it and so on. Old mass is, well, maybe, it can be. I shouldn't say not organized, because there was a time when Athanasius Laborde was alive. Athanasius was the leader of the Lapo Cabuit. And around him, a lot of us in Lapo Cabuit were around him, you know, very much into old mass. So it got to a point where we began gathering by his home, you know, on the morning of Carnival, when we came from the last Carnival, the last big Carnival show, gathered by his home, preparing for Juve. And in fact, that's where you have the most fun in old mass. When the ideas, some people don't have the ideas, some people have ideas from before already. But while we're there in the morning, taking a little drink, doing whatever we're doing, and ideas get thrown out, you know, and people laugh their head off some really outrageous ideas that nobody will go on the road with, and so on.
Imagine,
and that brought a little kind of organization into the whole thing, because we would come out as a group and come out onto the road, and then individuals would come and join us and and more and more we began looking like a band. In earlier days, it was just a set of individuals scattered all over the carnival. Okay, but more and more as we started coming out together, we started staying together, and you began seeing the old mass almost like another band coming onto the stage, which is now as it is now when you hear the announcer announcing old mass onto the stage. So there was that kind of organization, but essentially not organized as you would know. It's still a very individual thing. People stay at their home, and if they want, you just confide you and they come. You never know who's going to show up for old mass this year, who has the inspiration.
Is it usually based on the hot topic at the time? This year we know what that
Sometimes, but that also you can predict. Yeah, yes, you do. That also you can predict. And for you say the tranche and so on, the thing, your old mass has the tranche too. We have one particular Rasta, his name Mark, who is always a Rasta guy, and he fixes up the tranche, and he always has a tranche, always has his tranche, you know.
But one thing you mentioned that there is very individual. Once it's all done, the guys go to their homes and whatnot. But with that said, carnival bands, carnival goes on for them way after the 2-day event is over. They have the parties, they have a whole bunch of activities planned before and after. Do you think that the people who partake in Old Mass, do you think that should be included in the carnival celebrations?
Yeah. I think Old Mass can go a lot of places that we haven't seen. You would know that this year I actually came out of a production, The Big Wood Man. What I call it was Old Mass. It was an Old Mass production. It was my attempt to extend the impact of Old Mass in Saint Lucia. It's a lot of theater. There's a lot that can be done in Saint Lucia and indigenous Saint Lucian theater, bringing the Old Mass onto the stage, because it's really street theater. And these are characters, you take them out, give them story on a stage, and so on. A lot can happen with it. So here was an attempt to do what you do and extend Old Mass into it. Old Mass can go on into right through the year. Shows that variety shows that are put on. They could have sections where Old Mass characters come on stage and present placards with things. Fish has done a lot of things with placards. With some of the shows that some of us I would do with him earlier. And that comes from the Old Mass tradition, the Old Mass impacting on the kind of theater
so you'd refer to like things like 10 pines as well? Placards?
Well, now, 10 pines is another tradition, that was in its own way. That is another tradition that developed. In fact, how it is now, it used to be so much more fun before.
Trust me, that's one other show.
That's one other segment.
I want to, as well, you're talking about Old Mass can go so many places, and I'm starting to, you saying that, and I'm thinking already. But let's first start with keeping the tradition, because you said you started back in the 70s.
Yeah, well,
you're not
that's
your
when
age
I can
you are
remember
now
I go in
the 70s. Yeah. And Franny spoke earlier of the younger people. She knows, and I'm saying the same thing. Every time I saw Old Mass, to me, it's a bunch of older people. So how can we get, should the younger people now be getting into it so that we carry that traditions to see Old Mass evolve? As you see, there's so much that can happen. Because is it on a threat? Is there a threat of Old Mass fading out? When the young people come in now, they want to go just for fun or fusion.
Well, if the young, as you say, if younger persons do not take up a placard, yes, it will go with some of the older folk. But I do know that with the development of the theater arts syllabus in some of the secondary schools, some of them do carnival and so on. And when they do carnival, they teach and they try to push Old Mass. And so, yes, I have gone into a number of schools helping them. I know the cash is comprehensive for quite a few years to doing Old Mass, and the students would sit and with their theater arts teacher, and they would usually have carnival presentation, as part of their coursework and thing. And as part of it, they would do Old Mass and some nice ideas and so on. And well, that is one area where it's going. But there are a number of things, traditions that we teach in the schools, like La Rose and La Marguerite. You wonder, and you do not see it in the real life when the children leave.
A whole lot to talk about in terms of the development.
Okay.
And I'm sure, well, it's awesome that we have you here, to give us the insight on that. and especially what's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying, especially with the curriculum, I didn't know that it was introduced.
Introduced,
so
I was
much.
not aware.
So we'll get into that in just a little bit. So make sure you guys stay tuned right here for more of The Soup. While you're at it, don't forget to check us out on Facebook at @the_soup, on Instagram, @the_soup SLU, and of course we are on YouTube at The Soup SLU. We'll be right back.
Create your future now. Take your talent to another level. Maximize your earnings. A promising future awaits. Call the National Skills Development Center today and receive training in your area of interest. Day and evening classes are also available. For more information, call 458-1677. That's 458-1677. The National Skills Development Center.
Explore your potential.
Welcome back to The Soup. Today we are discussing Carnival, Calypso, as well as Old Mass. And for this segment, we do have a very special guest, Mr. Kennedy Booth Samuel. And we had quite a bit to discuss today regarding Old Mass. And the note we left on is a point that Keisha stopped on, which is, of course, you know, how the tradition is going to continue. And so Boots did teach us quite a bit. You know, he let us in on some information that the schools are getting much more involved, you know, in traditions in regards to theater arts. And so we'll continue from here. So Boots, do you think, like Keisha was saying, that there's a chance that the younger people would gain interest in traditions like Old Mass?
I am sure. I am sure that they will. Right now, as I said, there are some schools that have taken it in respect to their theater arts projects and so on. And when they do Carnival as a festival and so on, the teachers introduce them to the Old Mass and to doing the Old Mass, and you can only hope. A lot of Old Mass has come out of marginalization, you know, as I said, people get a voice to do things and so on. And the more the society and even the young people growing up get pushed in different ways, you see, and we have seen young people joining us, you know. There are young people that come up and maybe on the day while the thing going on, you'll see somebody going and write something on and holding up some crude placard, you know, not anything prepared from before, some crude placard, and then joining and doing things. But what you're calling for, as is happening with the theater arts, and we're only hoping that a lot of the other schools who do theater arts and so on, you know, see the value of going a lot deeper into some of our indigenous traditions, like Old Mass and so on. But,
can you say the same?
But Keisha, her suggestion was that probably even within the Old Mass community, those of us that are still around can look to ways and means of, you know, of systematically introducing, you know, the younger generation to the art form.
Now, I said younger generation, but in our break, I realized it's always guys. It's always men.
Yeah.
Speaking about tradition.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually made the, I'm not sure if it's a joke or if I'm going to take it seriously, of me joining Old Mass. They all know me. And then, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a woman. Yeah, right.
There have been one or two women who have joined, who have come into the Old Mass, but it's not like it has been male dominated.
Why do you think?
Why is that?
I don't know.
Tradition again?
Well, tradition, but if you go to the history of our society and males and females in our society, the upfront areas, when you start looking around, you know, like the politics, heavily dominated by men, more and more women come in and take over and bring a lot more sanity.
I love it. Yeah, I knew Franny would come.
Team women.
Feminist.
Yep.
And Calypso also. I mean, Calypso, a lot of these things on the forefront used to be dominated by men and so on. And then more we plot the progress, you know, as we go through the years, and we see Calypso now, some very champion women within Calypso in Saint Lucians and holding their own.
So it's up to the ladies to join. Keisha and Alison.
Ladies, yeah, we're going to check.
Well,
get
not only
my point.
well, not only
ladies,
Yeah.
attention.
I just say not only ladies, but almost every sector. This is an
Everybody.
indigenous tradition that we have that has some power. It has some, and
I agree.
it can be used in almost any, all kinds of areas. And there are all kinds of people we need to alert to the fact that we have some of these skills, these things that could be used for education purposes, for protest purposes, for whatever.
So speaking of the power that you do have, because like you said, it is an avenue for people to voice their thoughts and express their opinions. Has anybody ever gotten in trouble for something that they use for Old Mass?
Oh yes. Old Mass can go just like the calypso. I mean, it has its extremes. It has. There was one year. Carlton, my partner, Carlton Ishmael.
Tell us.
I come up. Carlton Ishmael was playing his Old Mass. I come out on the street and I see Carl coming up the road, and Carl has a placard. I've not seen any costume. Carl is dressed normally, like an ordinary man and so on, and he has a placard. Have you seen my ass? ASS. Okay? And Carl is going. And he's come, and I'm looking. What is Carl playing? And Carl passes me, and I say, Carl, you playing the fool? Or I say, Carl, you playing the A, whatever. And he coming. And Carl passes me, and a big hole is cut out from his pants at the
So
back.
you can see.
Totally. And he passes me, and
I remember
you
that.
see it in Well, he got problems with the police. A lot of problems, indecent exposure and so lots of problems with the police that year. Yeah.
Carlton has always been outrageous, and he continues to be.
Yeah. And then sometimes, well, some people get offended because we have a lot of traditions that go at people. And Old Mass is one of them. I remember when Deriso held Journée Creole for the first time, we were able to unearth a tradition that existed in Deriso where if somebody committed some thing in the community, like some elder man or some big man went and interfered with some young person or so on, they would make an effigy of the person, and it would be like a parade through the streets, and they would have this person and they would invent those songs and sing chants against him and so on. So we have lots of these things that go at individuals. Old Mass does, and sometimes individuals have do wrong in the society, it goes at them. Lawyers have things. There are lawyers who have had, well, it goes at politicians. Priests.
Okay.
Yes.
Priests.
Oh boy.
I remember one year there was a priest, I will not mention names, but
Oh yeah.
and if I say the Old Mass, you'll know the priest, so I wouldn't even say the Old Mass. But there was a problem, there was this rumor that this priest had a child.
Right.
Okay? And, no, I will not do it. Because the actual name of the Old Mass would say the priest. But there was a prom and everything going on and passing under the presbytery. And there was the priest and all his right in the balcony looking at this thing. And it was so obvious. The prom and everything passing on.
We can be bold like that when we want to be.
Oh yeah.
So
lawyers.
how do you know what is what's the limit? How do people know what's extreme and what's just being real?
Well, there's nothing extreme. I mean, extreme is relative to who is
So
viewing.
was Carlton's own extreme? That was extreme?
Well, yeah, I was surprised.
Was that to the extreme?
No, I found it fun. Carlton played the air.
So, for you, there's no extreme?
No, because again, well, there is extreme for the society, for the community, what it will accept, what it will. There have been a lot of Old Mass that have been done on penises.
Right.
You know, and vaginas too. In fact, there was one year Cocky came out with some vagina, and he had it on a fishing line, and had that there. And of course, people had to come close to examine what he really had there. And the thing was so real, like a vagina that had been plucked out, and
And you tell me you wouldn't love Old Mass? I absolutely love it.
Absolutely.
This thing was going on officially. And people had to leave. People don't want to stand on the sideline and they have to think everything, but they had to come closer to come and see. And when you realize that's what made have the pass out.
Absolutely wonderful.
But I was saying, Keisha, that because it's so individual and it's expression and so on, the person finds what they want to express, and depend on how brave you are and how you come out and you think so. And usually it's the surprising things that really make the Old Mass good in the year, the thing that you don't expect at all. That just opens up. Yes.
You have been a commentator or a reviewer and giving your own reviews over the years, not only on Carnival, Old Mass, but on Calypso too. So as you look at the progression of the art throughout the years, what is your take?
On which
Calypso, including the 10 Pinners and all of that, Carnival, and the whole mix together.
Well, a lot of these things is, this is our life. This is our life. And it's, for me, I have a different approach to this. I mean, when the Calypso season starts every year, you get, and Keisha can tell you because Keisha's very much there in the Calypso. The first 10 comes on and you hear everybody judging and saying, boy, the standard of this, that, and the standard low, standard high, standard judging this,
Best
and
of
so on.
110, one shoot.
Oh, yes.
I am different. What happens with Calypso, Carnival, and so on usually reflects the society at that particular point in time. And when people start pointing and saying the standard of Calypso, I think they should put a little deeper and see, what does this tell us about the society itself? Okay. It is not something that we have as a standard that we're going to keep there and so on. It comes out of the society as the society is now, both in terms of topic, both in terms of its form, where it goes out. So for me, I don't look so much at standard, rather I look beyond to see what am I learning about our community, about ourselves, about what we are today, about what's happening to us, or what we should be doing, and so on. And Calypso has always done that. Today, as I said, there are a number of things that have developed, and right now there's a lot of interest in art forms in making it make money. And sometimes I get the impression that the money is beginning to determine where things go. Then again, it tells us about our society. What is our society about right now? So even now, we now talk not so much culture, we talk creative industries. And more creative industries, and the word industries begin to place there. And now everything, you begin to judge everything in terms of standard that you have to meet, or whether this can sell, or whether it will appeal to an international audience, whether it will sell outside of Saint Lucia, whether it will sing, and so on. And when that begins to happen to Calypso, which was integral to the community itself and reflecting the community itself, you see some fundamental changes. And you wonder how long again will the Calypso that we have there be relevant to the community it is supposed to serve, because right now it's moving.
Striving to want to
go somewhere. And then you take things like we were on the thread, we were worrying the last year. This year came almost to reverse everything. We were worrying that with the rise of soca, Calypso was going on. The soca was taking all the money. The soca was pulling the crowds and so on. Right. The tents, people not going to the tents again, and we kept worried. And soca that was carrying the thing. Soca was, but this year that turned that on its head. On its head, because some effort was put into Calypso. Some serious Calypsos came out.
What happened
this year?
What happened? And it just so happens, I've heard the naysayers and so on. It happens when there's the introduction now
Of
of
money.
Soleil.
Of
So
money.
I don't know, you say
Yeah.
money, I'm saying the whole concept.
Yeah.
And then now it just turns on its, like I said, I went to finals and I'm wondering, am I at soca? You know,
Couldn't even get seats, could you? At the cultural
am
center?
I at
that
soca
many, but-
finals?
Yeah.
What's going on?
But-
And people that I would see at soca finals, and so they
You
were
see
there at
them.
Calypso.
Yeah.
So,
But
what
a number of
happens-
things was pushing Calypso in a sense. This year, the politics was getting a kind of a way. And soca doesn't
I like how you put that.
Soca doesn't deal with the politics. You know, the juice,
A
the
lot needs to
juice
be
in the
dealt with at
politics.
Calypso.
And, you know,
Oh, so
and
we
some
had
people,
juice. You said
some
we
people
had
were getting
juice.
shaft. So Calypso was the place that they could come out and
yes.
sing it and so on. Coming from the elections that was held, coming into a number of developments in the society, created interest. Even before the first Calypso was sung, you could hear people in the society say, boy,
Interest or
Calypso,
passion?
this year
Would
Calypso
you
have
say
so many
interest or
things.
passion?
Well, both of them, yeah.
think, yeah.
But you could hear the society, boy, this year Calypso have
And
so
the
many things.
anticipation.
And there was an anticipation and coming and thing too. And the people that were hoping to be the objects of the Calypso, or the targets of the Calypso, they themselves didn't let up too. They themselves came with an interest
they
in the
were
Calypso.
there.
So there was
They were
things
all
heading.
there?
They
It was
were
heading for so the politicians.
Not all.
Okay.
Not all.
The politicians were in the tents this year in
They were though, yeah,
in
but
a
not
kind of a way.
Yeah,
I mean, before there are some,
I saw some
there are some,
politicians who are my friends, and I
there's
said,
some
what are
standard.
you doing here?
Yeah, there are some politicians who always support Calypso.
That is
You know,
true.
I take people like Spider Motu. I mean,
Yes.
we have had Short Pants, who was
Yeah, they
Calypsonian,
have,
and Pep, and so on. Some of the things like some of the younger fellas, they have always supported Calypso, but this year there was a huge so
they
you
were
felt that there was some
there.
kind of clash that was coming to a head
Yeah.
within Calypso. Then the Prime Minister showed up in the tents. He didn't sit down in front like he sat in the bleachers and so there were these, and of course there was the money. The issues in Calypso and Carnival, when you break it out, it's always been to around money and support and so on. If you free up the Calypsonians to do their business and less worry about themselves, about who thieving the money and who doing this and who doing that, free up the artists, and then you have some wonderful art in the play. And this year it was, there was that kind of feeling. There was that kind of feeling. That you were not looking at nobody as the one thief in the money thing and whatnot. There was money and people were being paid on time and so on. And, you know? So there was an energy.
Right.
There was an energy. People wanted money. People wanted to be paid and they knew they would be paid and there was some kind of energy.
Okay. Well, as they say, time definitely flies when you're having fun. And we're getting the break sign. And I didn't even realize the time had come this quickly because this topic is so hot. And I'd like to take this opportunity to ask the producers, you know, as you can see, Mr. Samuels here is a Volt himself. So I think we need to have him back because this topic cannot end right here, right now. But we've come to the end of this segment, and this is where we say goodbye to Mr. Samuels. So on behalf of everybody here at the Soup, I'd like to say a massive thank you very much for joining us. So we're going to have a quick break right now. Don't go away for too long. Come right back. When we come back, we'll be saying our goodbyes.
Today.
As communities, we have a role to play in ensuring that abuse of women and children in the home gets reported. When violence in the home is seen as a private matter and communities turn a blind eye, tragedy sometimes follows. It doesn't hurt to help. Find out how you can make a difference.
For more information, call 202, the Women's Support Center.
Thank you so much for keeping it locked with us here on The Soup. And we've been speaking with our special guest, Kennedy Boots Samuel, and of course talking Carnival, All Mass, and of course Calypso. And of course time has run out. I'm so sorry. But before we end, Alison, you had something you wanted to share with us?
Well, actually, I wanted to congratulate Boots on the Big Woodman production. I went to that. And I did not know what to expect, but being a typical Lucian, you have big wood man, you have thoughts in your head. And I left the show flabbergasted. The message, it was a monologue, but the flow, the tone, the humor, the message, the past into the present, his wife's pillow and the pussy, and the wood, and the, oh my God, it was a fabulous 45 minutes to 1 hour thereabouts. And I have to give you all the props on that.
So for those of us who were not there, is it on tape?
No, well, we're not supposed to. It's not supposed to have been finished yet. But Kendall, the director, and we have to also applaud Kendall Hippolyte too.
Yes.
Well, he's traveling, so we were supposed to go down to some of the rural communities with it, but he's traveling and he's coming back towards the end of October. So when he comes back, we will pick it up again.
Awesome.
Looking forward to
So
goes.
again, we're running out of time. Just want to just quick comments from you, Rochelle. Closing comments.
No, this was really interesting. I did not realize there was so much to it, and especially the talk of the old mass. My gosh, like I said, we need to have you back here because we need to pick at this vault a little bit more.
Yes.
And you need to give us some more. Those cheeky laughs you were giving, we know there's so much going on behind
it.
it.
More. Franny, anything
well,
from you?
I want to see more ladies, you know, taking part in Oma.
The feminists, yes.
And Alison, you made very bold statements here today,
right.
and I'm holding you both
on
to
camera.
it.
Yep, on camera.
All right, so hopefully I could see the ladies, more ladies take part in Oma.
All right. Yes. All right. So again, thank you so much, people. Thank you again, Boots.
My
And
pleasure.
of course, we got a little insight to that name again, Boots.
Well, we got one of the stories. He
One
did
of the,
say
yeah, there's two.
there
So
were
when
two.
you come back,
That's
we
what
get
we'll
a
get the
second
other
one. All right. So thank you so much again for joining us here at the Soup. Again, we want to say thank you so much to our sponsors. We have Lucky Cosmetics, Ali's Makeup. We also have Sea Island Cotton, Home and Garden, as well as, well, ladies looking wonderful today, Fashion Colors. Thank you so much. All right, and of course, join us same time, same place. Make sure you check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, as well as on YouTube. Bye now.